Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Dear students, today we will discuss about the fifth lecture of the organic chemistry, basic concepts of organic chemistry, and the topic will be the bond length, bond strength, electronegativity, and the bond polarity, the inductive effect, as well as the delocalized chemical bonding and hyperconjugation. So the first topic is bond length. Bond length or bond strength. The bond length and bond strength of the molecule depend upon the electronegativity and many other factors. For example, if we take the example of the carbon-carbon single bond, carbon-carbon double bond, and carbon-carbon triple bond, then we see here that the bond length for carbon-carbon double single bond is 1.54 angstrom. For this is 1.34 angstrom and 1.21 angstrom. So the bond length decrease as we go from the single bond toward the triple bond, while the bond strength in terms of the bond energy increase in terms of the bond energy in the unit of kilojoule per mole. So it increase. For example, it is like 368 kilojoule per mole for the carbon-carbon single bond, 635 for the carbon-carbon double, 837 for the carbon-carbon triple bond. So as we go from the carbon-carbon sigma bond to the carbon-carbon triple bond, the bond length decrease while the bond strength increase. So the bond strength now increase in this situation. Bond strength increase. So there is a question that why carbon-hydrogen bond is different, bond length is, and bond strength is different in different molecule. Why carbon-hydrogen bond length as well as strength is different in different molecules. So this can be explained on the basis of the hybridization, the nature of the hybridization. For example, if we take the example of the carbon-carbon sigma bond, so we have sp3 type of hybridization. In this case, we have sp2 type of hybridization and sp type of hybridization. In the carbon-carbon sigma bond, the S character is 25%, while in the carbon-carbon double bond we have the S character of 33%. Similarly, for the carbon-carbon triple bond we have the S character of 50%. So as we go from the carbon-carbon sigma bond toward the carbon-carbon triple bond, the S character increase, which means that the shared electrons are more closely bound to the nucleus tightly, and that is why the bond length is decreased and the bond energy or the bond strength is increased. Electronegativity and the bond polarity. So what is the effect of electronegativity on the bond polarity? As you all aware of electronegativity is the ability of an atom to attract a shared paired electron toward itself, while the electropositivity is the ability of an atom to lose a shared paired electron. So electronegativity has an important role in the bond polarity, and we always we know that fluorine is the more electronegative atom with electronegativity of 4, while the cesium is the least electronegative atom with the electronegativity of 0.7. So this is arbitrary scale which was chosen for the fluorine, and as we go from the from the left toward right in the periodic table, the electronegativity increases. While in case of groups from top to bottom, the electronegativity decreases. So fluorine, oxygen, nitrogen, chlorine, these kind of elements have more electronegativity as compared to the metals. Carbon and hydrogen, so carbon and hydrogen, they have the electronegativity. Carbon has 2.5 and the hydrogen has the electronegativity of 2.2. So this is very important to know about the electronegativity of carbon and hydrogen, because we are always dealing with the carbon-hydrogen bond in the organic chemistry. So on the basis of this electronegativity, we can explain the bond polarity in different molecules. There is a short problem that how you can arrange the elements on the basis of increasing electronegativity, increasing order of electronegativity. For example, if you take selenium, oxygen, sulfur, and the next one phosphorus, sodium, chlorine, and in the third one chlorine, sulfur, and fluorine. So you can arrange these elements on the basis of increasing order of electronegativity. For example, if we take this example, so this is the member of the same group, and oxygen is on the top with the most electronegative, then sulfur, and then selenium, and other elements also you can arrange in the increasing order of electronegativity. Now the prediction of the bond polarity can be explained, the bond polarity can be predicted. So bond polarity can be predicted on the basis of the electronegativity differences. And there is a scale design that if we have the electronegativity difference, less than 0.5 unit, then we always consider this as non-polar covalent bond. And if the electronegativity difference is more than 0.5 while less than 2, then it will be considered as polar covalent bond. And if the electronegativity difference is greater than 2, in some cases it is taken as 1.7, so then it will be considered as ionic bond. So this is a scale of the electronegativity on the basis of which we can predict the polarity of the bond. For example, if we take the example of the carbon-carbon sigma bond. So we know that carbon has the electronegativity of 2.5. So the electronegativity difference is 0, which means that whenever there is covalent bond formation between the similar atoms, then the molecule will be always considered as non-polar. Similarly, if we take the example of the carbon-hydrogen bond, then in this situation we have 2.5 electronegativity for carbon and 2.2 electronegativity for hydrogen. So the electronegativity difference is equal to 0.3, which is still less than 0.5, which means that this bond is also non-polar. If we take the example of carbon-oxygen bond, then we know that the electronegativity of carbon is 2.5 and the electronegativity of oxygen is 3.5. So the electronegativity difference is equal to about 1, which is equal to which predict that the bond between the carbon and oxygen is more polar, and on the basis of this we can say that there should be a partial negative charge on oxygen and a partial positive charge on carbon. So this partial charge means that the electron is not totally transferred to oxygen, but it is more near more closest to oxygen as compared to carbon. Okay. There is a problem, and you can predict the polarity of the bond. For example, if we take the example of HF, similarly, the second one is boron, carbon bond, and the third one is the carbon-lithium bond. Carbon-lithium bond. So you can predict in this situation that which one these molecules are either polar or non-polar. So you can predict this on the basis of the electronegativity values of these elements. Okay. The next topic is inductive effect. Okay, for example, we have a molecule like methyl chloride, CH3CH2Cl. Now we know that chlorine is more electronegative than carbon, so the electron will be attracted toward chlorine, and a partial negative charge will be appear on chlorine, while a partial positive charge will be appear on carbon. This partial positive charge on the carbon can be compensated by attracting the electrons from the adjacent carbon. So we have a double partial positive charge. So this kind of polarization of a bond, the polarization of a bond due to adjacent polar bond, So such kind of polarization, which is operated through sigma bonds, is called inductive effect. And the inductive effect work up to 4 carbons, and beyond the 4 carbon this effect vanishes. So the inductive effect is more pronounced when we have adjacent carbon, nearest carbon, while for the away carbons up to 4, this effect working, but beyond the 4 carbon this effect become vanish, and it will become N. Okay, so the inductive effect may be through two ways. One is through dipole, and we already discussed this in the case of the ethyl chloride. While the other way is through formal charge. We can explain this on the basis of formal charge. The inductive effect can also be operated through formal charge. For example, CH3, CH2, NR3. So a formal charge on the positive on the nitrogen, and because of the more electronegativity of the nitrogen, the electron will be attracted from carbon, and we will observe here a partial positive charge on the carbon, and similarly a double partial positive charge on the other carbon. Similarly, the inductive effect can be carried out in the opposite direction. For example, I will take the example of this CH3, CH2O. So the oxygen will donate the electron toward carbon, and then it will donate to the another adjacent carbon, and we will get the negative charge distribution on the adjacent carbon atom, and this effect is also called inductive effect. So on the basis of this, we can explain 2 different types of inductive effect. One is the inductive effect in which the species donate the electron toward the atom, and the other one is the electron withdrawing inductive effect. So we have 2 kinds of effect. One is the electron donating inductive effect, and one is the electron withdrawing inductive effect. So this is the electron withdrawing inductive effect, and this is the electron with donating inductive effect. So on the basis of this, we can classify inductive effects as electron with donating and electron with drawing. So the first one is electron with drawing inductive effect, and this can be symbolized as negative I. For example, Nr3 plus, NH3 plus, NO2, C triple bond N, etc. So such kind of molecules, they always perform the electron withdrawing inductive effect. They withdraw the electron from the adjacent carbon atom and then cause the polarity of the bond. So the bond becomes polar due to the more electronegativity of these elements. The second one is the electron with donating inductive effect, and this can be symbolized as positive I. For example, oxygen, carboxylate, Cr3, CHR2, and many others. So in this case, the electron donated to the carbons by these kind of atoms, and the inductive effect is caused. Application of the inductive effect. The first one is the acidic strength. So on the basis of inductive effect, we can explain the acidic strength of substances. For example, if we compare the pKa value of acetic acid, iodoacetic acid. So the pKa value for the acetic acid is 4.76. The pKa value for iodo is 3.76, 3.12. Similarly, the pKa value for the chloroacetic acid is 2.85, and for the trichloroacetic acid, this value is 0.70. So as you see here, the pKa value decreases when we attach the more electronegative atom. So now, like in the case of the iodoacetic acid, the pKa value is 3.12, which means that the iodoacetic acid is more stronger acid than acetic acid, while the chloroacetic acid is more stronger than iodo because of the more electronegativity of the chlorine, while the trichloroacetic acid is further more stronger than the chloroacetic acid because of the involvement of three more electronegative atoms. So what is happen? Actually, the acetic acid, when ionized in water, it is converted into acetate ion, and this acetate ion, in the presence of the more electronegative atom like iodine, chlorine, bromine, or fluorine, is stabilized. And when it is stabilized, then it enhances the ionization of the acid and make the substance more stronger acid. Okay, so the electron withdrawing groups always stabilize the carboxylate anion and increase the acidity of the substance, while the electron donating group, they destabilize the carboxylate ions, and that is why it decrease the acidic strength. For example, if we take the example of formic acid. So formic acid has a pKa value of 3.77, while the acetic acid has a pKa value of 4.76. So it means that formic acid is more stronger acid than acetic acid, because we have this methyl group present in the acetic acid, which is electron donating group. So this methyl group destabilizes the carboxylate anion, and that is why it decreases the acidity of acetic acid. While in the case of formic acid, there is no donating group, so that is why this formic acid is more acidic than acetic acid itself. In the case of dicarboxylic acid, for example, malonic acid, dicarboxylic acid, for example, malonic acid. So malonic acid is the formula of this. When we dissolve it in water, so it will give us, so this one is the first pKa1, and the pKa1 is equal to 2.83. Similarly, the second one, when ionized, so it will give us the pKa2, and that is equal to 5.69. So it means that the first ionization of the malonic acid, the substance is more acidic because the pKa is less. While in the second case, it become more stronger acid as compared to this acid. Because in this situation, the two carboxylate anion, they repel each other, and due to that repulsion, they always cause destabilization of the carboxylate anion, which make this one as weak acid.